Okay. So I believe every child has their own talents. It's just how we find them. So when I talk with normally with the parents and with my potential students, I also want to advise them the three-step approach that I strongly recommend for everyone. So here is as it says, as a parent and educator, our role is to help our children discover their talents, their own talents, provide them with opportunity to transfer the talents into passion. That is our second step. And then guide them into carrying their passions into their future career. So what I believe sometimes in Chinese, I say 三合一. So this is a model I believe in, which can promote like this last sentence about healthy, happy, and smart children. I think that's what, especially as a parent, this is my prayer with my kids when, every night. So I want them to have healthy, happy, and smart children always. And then I think there's another thing I would like to advocate today. I know we may not, all kind of Asian parents, but most of us, I'm guessing we're Asian parents. So I want us to really realize it. We want to work together to eliminate the Asian parent stereotype for our youth, especially because you see the unfairness about going to college, unfairness when they find a job, or even some kind of the race crime and everything, upon us, especially after the pandemic, all the intents coming out. So I think it's a perfect timing for us to emphasize this. We sometimes proud to be Asian parents, but we don't want the stereotype on our head. So I want, advocate that we create a supportive environment for them to grow up with confidence, okay, with their identity as Asian Americans. I always, when I, volunteer for the UC Illinois, there is a sentence always in my, voice, always in my brain is, I want all our, next generation, our kids can be a cool Asian Americans. I want them to be confident and also be lucky feel they are Asian Americans, not shy about, that kind of a hat on, wisdom. So this is a part I want to emphasize a little bit. I know it's a little bit off the topic of our math, but this is something I really hope all the audience today, all the parents today could really to think about it, how we can do together to help our kids grow healthy, happy, and smart. Okay, thank you, Brian. I think I'll go back to you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lee. That is our principal here at Pyramid Academy. All right, now I'm very honored to introduce Mrs. Rose today, who's going to talk about our math competitions. Now, Mrs. Rose, if you could take a few moments and introduce yourself and then get started with your presentation.
Hello, thanks, Brian. Thanks for Ms. Lee having me here. Happy Friday evening. Thank God it's Friday, right? So I'm here to kick off the weekend and very glad to share some thoughts with all of you. It's not really about, we say it's about math, right? It's not really about math, it's about everything for how to help kids to become, just like Mrs. Lee said, smart, happy, right? Confidence in the future. I think that's our goal here. For me, I've been teaching math for over 16 years. I taught all the levels of math from the the kindergarten to the highest level you could think of, thought about for the high school, or even for some college kids as well, for all the grades. So I just want to share some of my experience from my personal goals. Watch my kids growing up, watch another student growing up. Just like share some thoughts with you. So feel free to ask any question if you have. I'm starting with math competition. I think that's our major topic, but feel free to ask any question regarding not just math competition today. So let me start with math competition here. Just want to see, you can hear me well, right? Everybody can hear me, can see me well.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So let me get started. Hopefully the slides won't take that long. Then we can go back to Q&As. And if anybody have any question, feel free to jump in. Okay. So first, let's start with some introduction for the math competition overall format. I don't know how many of you ever heard about some of them. Probably some of them are famous, some of them are not that so well known here. I think the major one which we'll cover here will be AMC series and the math guns today. Some rest of them, I don't know how many of you heard about it, not heard about it. I can cover it later, but the most popular ones, which we'll talk about here, will be MathCon's AMC series. Okay. I know not everybody's goal will go to IMO, right? So what's IMO stands for? The math competition team for international, right? So here's the path. So if some of you had some kids have the passion to go that high, here is the way you go. Okay. So the MC8 start from the middle schooler. So after middle schooler, you no longer take MC8. So MC8 will stop there. The kids will take MC10, MC12 as high schooler. Some younger kids in their middle school also took those as well. So there are no lower bound limit, but they have upper bound limit. Okay, the next level will be AMI, the invitational. Now after that, if you take MC10 combined with AMI, you'll go route to USGMO. The another route will be from MC12 / AMI, you go to ASMO. The next level will be, we call the compare, which including about, I will talk about that, around 50 people in the kind of training camp that will be selected from there to go to IMO to represent the US to go to the international competition. So this is a whole route. And this route, people probably most famous, most known as well. So I will talk about each one of them in my next few slides. Okay. Let me know if anybody want me to slow down, want me to speed up. So let me know here. Okay. So this is on the top, right? On the ending part. That I know not everybody goes getting there, so it's hard because we only have 6 people. So from 60, we say 60, 50 around those range here for the compare. They select 30, go to few rounds of the test, go to select 6 of them, represent the US to compete each year. Okay, so this is the route here. Okay, so let's talk about MC8. MC8, some of you, I know some parents probably already know this one very well. This designed for the middle schooler. So the maximum you can take this one is 8th grade, right? After 8th grade, you are no longer allowed to take this one anymore. This is a multiple choice questions. So I have 25 questions, around 40 minutes, 1 point per question. There are 2 rows here, the honor roll of distinction, top 1%, and honor roll of certificate, so 5%. You also have another row here. So this is the one to give you we call the test of water, right? To test up how the MC questions looks like. There are no further levels after that. So if you get MC8, you are in the distinction role, you are in the, get a certificate role. Wonderful. Congratulations. Good job. Okay. But no further level after that. Let me go next one. Okay. MC10, MC12. Okay. MC10 designed for 10th grader and below. MC12 designed for the grade 12 and below. Actually, grade 11 and below. Should be, yeah, grade 11 and below. Okay. So those format, still multiple choice questions here. Number time, 75 minutes, 25 questions here. If you get it right, you get 6 points. If you get it wrong, you get 0 point. If you not choose anything, you score 1.5 points. So here's some strategy to play around, right? And always, Brad knows this one here pretty well too, probably. The last 5 questions, always hard, okay? But not everybody will go to, if your goal is want to go to AMI, you probably don't need to answer those last 5 questions. So there's some strategy, around that. If you're good enough, you will get invited to the next level. We call it AMI, AIME. Okay, so that's the next one. Okay, AMI is different story than MC 10, 12, right? It's no longer multiple choice question. Okay, so they're much harder questions. Okay, 3 hours. So at MC level, we say the speed is pretty important. You'll feel tight for speed. But AMI level, critical thinking is more important. Okay, again, the questions is much harder. Okay, it will involve with a lot of knowledge for overall. Okay, how you get to next level? Okay, after you have, we go to MCs, we get IME here. How do you get to next level, right? Next level will be called a GMO, AMO. Okay, so you get those two combined together, be scored USGMO. So USGMO normally have around 230 people, 230 students. USAMO normally around 270. Okay, if everybody look at, normally the MAA will post their names if you get into the USGMO, USMO. Okay, if everybody ever do some kind of statistics here, you will see the people in the USGMO, USMO, majority probably from California, Texas, right? Illinois, we are luckily each year probably around 10, 15 students. That not many, okay. So this, next level, just like a combination, everything. You need to be good at everything, not just like one topic. So I list everything here, just like if you want to go to some competition, right? You're not just good at speed, you should good at stress as well. So it's everything, okay? Next level, IMO. IMO has same format as AMO, okay? Say 2 days, 9 hours for 6 questions. When I ask kids, how do you do for the AMO questions? Some kids say, I get 0. No surprise. You will say 0, 0, surprise. Really? You're that smart, you're that good, but you still get 0. Yes, that means how hard those questions are. Okay. And just like I said, the next level will be, is a very good honor, right? If you're good on, very good honor to be put in your resume, put in your, the AOs will look at that one. Okay. So let's talk about MC series here. Any question anybody have? So far, so good? Okay, so I will talk to Mascon and talk about general how to get to you to the place which your students want. Okay, the math cons very similar to MC8. It's designed for middle school, 6th grade, 8th grade. Okay, each year you can view the last national competitions in real time. Right there, I watched a few times there, to see how the different teams goes. Math counts goes by different rounds here, so it's goes to, I will talk about format for each one of them. So you talk about chapter competition, state competition, go to national competition. Top 4 individual for each state will go to national. Okay, so let's talk about the format here. They go by the rounds. Okay, they have spring round, target round, team round, countdown round. Okay, I was fortunate to watch them for countdown rounds for the kids. You will see how fast those kids will do. Sometimes it's amazing when the question haven't to speak out, haven't read out, the kids already have an answer. That's really amazing when you saw those kids or doing the competition. You say, really? What are they doing here? I haven't really even read through the question. They already have an answer. That's how good they are. Okay, so let's talk about that. Okay, let's talk about math. Okay, so next few slides kind of more generic, not just math, right? Could apply for how the kids from their baby time grow up to become confident, get the success path here. Okay, I think people always think about, oh yeah, you're smart, right? Intelligence, you're smart. Yeah, so you're smart can see, for sure, you're doing good at school. Smart is one factor, okay? Intelligence is one factor. It's not really, I see a lot of smart kids, but everybody get a success? Not really, right? But smart is one factor, okay? Environment, build up environment. This environment, okay, talk about, provide the support from your family, from the around them. One thing here is, I always hear some parents tell me, oh, my kids is not that good. My kids, oh, so lazy. My kids always like for the speed. I say, oh, did you see something positive from these kids, right? But if you keep talking about that way, how kids will feel? Kids will feel, oh, I'm not that good. I never be that good. I never be that happy, for my parents. Okay, that's what I have here. I will be there now. I'll be there in the future. Okay, I say you should build up the environment. Let them feel they are comfortable. Let them glow. Okay, not just like say, oh yeah, that's whatever you can see. That's whatever you can do. You can only do that much. I bet that's it. Okay. Self-discipline. I know a lot of parents ask me here, say, oh yeah, my kids just like use the whole time play with games. Okay, I don't know, some of you, I had a few parents, a lot of my friends here are asking me this question. So, oh, how can we do that, right? Kids are kids, right? If you don't let them play with the games, probably say, oh, what do you do, right? You cannot expect them to play, to study all the time. You should leave some time for them to play, but you should give some rules around that, right? Say when will be your play time, when your study time, and just that, watch that. Let's talk about the self-discipline here. Okay, another one very important, interest, passion. So I'm fortunate to know a few kids and work with a few kids go to as high as this level. Okay. So those top kids here, we only know 6 of them, right, each year. How they get to that high? The answer is without passion, without interest, no way. Okay, without passion, without no interest, no way. So what I mean, so this probably happens less in US, but more for just like we came from China, right? More Chinese kids, they always do a lot of questions. Okay, math practice, all the time math practice, start from the young baby time or elementary school here. Use hard work can get you far, okay? But those hard work cannot get you far to IMO level. Have an interest to get you that far. Otherwise, you couldn't. Okay. One big thing, again, about math, not about math exactly. Okay, knowledge, right? So we build up knowledge. Brand teach the math here knows We a lot of questions. If you don't know how to do it, you don't know how to do it. That's a knowledge, right? Especially geometry questions, right? So many rules around that. If you know it, it's easy as that. But if you don't know it, no way. Okay. Work hard, work smart, right? So we say, okay, we know some kids just like, oh, repeatedly doing ton of questions. Is that useful? In certain degree. But is there, how far away can you go for that? But just like working on some kind of question repeatedly there, I don't think that will go lead you to that far. Okay, working smart. Okay, find out which area you need to improve, right? Go from there. Not just always put in all of your time in one question here. Okay, so the support, I talk about it, right? The parents, what we can do, provide environment to support them. Well, if they need to have a training, if you do that, go it, right? Okay, opportunity, right? We said, in Chinese word, you say, okay, 谋事在人，成事在天. What that mean? You can think about what you can do here. You can work hard as what can you do here, but success sometimes not depends on you, not depends on something your fate we could decide, right? Something which maybe you need to get opportunity. Okay. Another thing here is some people want to go fast. Okay, I know want to go fast, but I always tell my some parents and some students say, okay, this is long journey. Be prepared. Okay, this is long journey. Be prepared. It's not just like you get trained one day, you get trained 1 year. Oh, bang, you're good. No shortcut. Okay, that's my thing here. Okay, so for elementary schooler here, one of things which I want to emphasize is reading. You say, what? You're a math teacher, talk about reading. What's going on here? Okay. I feel very lucky to my kids. I think the most important gift which I had for my kids is to provide them just like training, reading. They have a very good reading habit. They are both bookworms, so reading helped them tremendously. Okay, not just doing the math work, and also for going forward. And I know some of the students which ask me questions. I always ask, do you really understand what they're talking about here? Do you understand what the question is asking? If you really don't understand what questions here, if you don't understand what they're asking, how can you do it, right? Okay, so fundamental here. A lot of times you'll find how amazing the turnout is not math problem, it's understanding reading problem. Especially once you go further, right? Once you go further here, the question will be like that. Okay, next one, observation. Okay, in Chinese word, 观察力. Okay, so observation. This is so important. And when you saw the question here, the first question you should ask, what's your starting point? Where should you start? Okay, that's very important. Where should you start? The starting point, a lot of times will lead you to the success solution. Will also lead you how fast you could solve those problems. Okay, thinking, not just doing, thinking. Math is beautiful. Math has many ways. It's not just one way to solve this problem. Okay, math has many ways. So when you finish those stuff, you need to always think about, oh, which way will going better, right? I learn from it. Not just doing same way over and over. That's a repeated work won't let you go further. Okay. As an elementary schooler, it's very important to build up knowledge. Very important. This important as build up knowledge as for the high schooler, for middle schooler as well. Okay, let me go to next one. Let me know if anybody have any question here. Okay. So I add some to-dos for middle schooler, for high schooler as well. Again, knowledge, right? Also, once you build up knowledge here. One big thing I think as middle school, high schooler will be important is problem solving, right? The thinking skill which add you to problem expanding, problem solving, right? We say knowledge. I talked to Mrs. Lee that day. Say math. If you think about math, you should be think about this way: knowledge and skill, right? Knowledge will build up your base for the problems. Skill will help you to solve fast, accurate, and how to treat this problem in the efficient way, right? So those stuff here. And generalization solution. The one big thing, once you solve this problem, start build up confidence. So you can challenge yourself, take a more challenge questions here. Okay. Any other questions here so far? Maybe if I took too much time. Okay, so here are some points from my point of view as a parent, as a teacher. Okay, I think Miss Cindy talked about this one here. Every student is unique. Don't compare. Okay, don't follow exact same route. That's impossible. For me, my kids are different. They are different. They have own strengths, own weakness. They do the stuff which good about. And I think one thing I heard so many parents talking to me, so many parents say, oh yeah, look at that kid. He's doing something. He's doing debating. He's doing robotics. He's doing dancing. Okay, he's playing the teams here. Should I do that? Okay, ask yourself if your kids like it, if your kids good at it, right? If your kids like it, if kids good at it, go for it. If they have time, if they have passion, go for it. If not, why you force them to do those stuff? That's painful. They won't go that far. Okay. So just like I say, and also I want to mention here, people say, oh yeah, you're a math kid, so you go competition, right? I have some friends' kids, I have some kids which told me in college, after college, you say, oh yeah, I'm glad I take a training for math because this not just take me to the competition. The training for math helped me to find out, solve the problem. I now have one friend's kids. I have one kid now is in the Wall Street, working for Wall Street. She personally told me, I'm so lucky I had a training for math in my young time, because when I had interview, those stuff here, they ask same question which I had when I was doing the math competition work. Okay, so this is a skill. This is a skill. This is the thing, strategy which help you go further in the long run. Okay, again, no shortcut. Be prepared. Be prepared. Be prepared. And no, I say right expectation. Not everybody will go ML. That's right expectation, right? If you really kids have the talent, have the passion, go ML, go for it. Okay. If not, find the right place for them and get them reach to the highest potential and then make them happy, right? If you set the wrong expectation, they are painful, you're painful, and everybody, I think everybody will feel, oh yeah, why we that torture for those stuff, right? So it's ability to get you further, but make sure you understand how much you could do here. Okay. Next two slides, I list some books here. These are AOPS books here for the preparation for the competition here. And I think these are some math in general to help you to the different levels of math competition here. I know Permits has courses for the majority of levels here, and I will start teach for them for the MC 10 stuff questions here. I think that's all from my side here. Any questions can go back to Brian and go back to Miss Lee here.
Yeah, anyone has questions, you may type it out in the chat group, or you may ask, maybe we take 2 or 3 questions, Brian, and then you can continue with your part a little bit. How about that?
That sounds fantastic. I did want to take a quick moment to say how happy I am to have another teacher whose ideas are like completely aligned. there. The reading is such an important skill, something that the students don't expect, and the parents, I think, don't expect either, just how important it is to be reading to understand the problem. Like in my math classes, we always do the 3 reads method. So I'm so excited to see another math teacher be talking about the importance of reading, because that really is where that math understanding starts.
One of the parents asking to share the slides is that I actually screenshot many of them in the group. So if you would like to join our WeChat group, or contact me, I can share some of the slides that I print screen.
Okay, I think there's one question here. Okay, so what's a challenge, right? You want me to answer that question?
Go ahead.
Right. Okay. I think just like I say, LPS question has different levels. The level thing will decide how the kids will take. So I think the challenge will be some kids not take the right level of class, and some kids not really understand what they do for each one of them. We normally go with here, right? So if you go some series here, of course, those questions, those classes will have some similar class in the normal school as well. AOPS class, the difference from AOPS class to the normal school class, the AOPS class has more challenge questions, that's for sure, right? And they have train you for more skill questions than normal class. Normal class more knowledge based, but AOPS class is more skill trained. So what that means here, if kids have no base knowledge, they just like want to get it fast here. But I know some kids can do that with no problem. I saw some kids, just like I said, I met a few IMO kids. So those kids, no doubt, right? And another kids, MO kids too. So no question for those kids, they can pick up quickly. But the challenge for those will be some kids, if normal kids, if they couldn't understand that quick, they will feel lack. The reason for that is for those kids, their area, sometimes they pop up the idea quickly. So just like Brian probably know this case too. So you just like give the question here, all of a sudden the pop up question, quick pop up answers. If the kids can go along with them, they feel not behind. But if the kids say, "Oh, I haven't really even understand the question," now you get me answer, they'll feel behind there. There will be some unhappiness between those matches as well. Okay, does this answer your question? So my thing here is they need some solid math knowledge. If they can pick up quickly, that's fantastic. That's no problem. But if you think they cannot pick it up as quickly as other kids, which take the same class, it's good to have some base knowledge before taking those classes. Brian can chime in. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. The art of problem solving really lets you move around a bit. It's not so grade focused, and we'll take a look at the classes that Pyramid offers in a little bit that use the art of problem solving, and you'll see it's not grade based. Now, I do see we have another question. They have a kid in elementary school. They want to know the difference between the kangaroo math contests and the math Olympiad for elementary and middle school. Would you like to take that one, Mrs. Rose?
Okay. I'm more familiar with mom than kangaroo. Okay. So mom is they called math Olympia, right? Math Olympiads for elementary and middle schoolers. My kids actually, when they're young, they took moms at school. I think all the way. Those are some questions here, just like competition questions. The very good training for the elementary school. I think start from elementary school. That's training you how to think about problem differently. The math, I'm less familiar with math kangaroo questions
I
here.
have some familiarity with
Okay.
that one. I can
Okay, go
handle
ahead.
that.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So the kangaroo math class, not class, the test, those are multiple choice. They start at grade 1, they go through grade 12. Those are focusing on just geometry, arithmetic, algebra, and logical reasoning. They don't have, I mean, there is some problem solving involved in it, but it doesn't quite compare, in my opinion, to the Math Olympiad. It's still a fine system. It's used in more countries, but America tends to focus on the Math Olympiad.
I think I have a little to share. Yeah, my kids didn't have a chance to take it, but I heard some of our international students, took it. It's more like for the targeting for the little younger age group, and also more fun of the month math, and also trying more like IQ questions to trying to let you find patterns and things like that. A little bit, kind of a closer to the COGAT questions than this, competition questions. That's what I feel. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe some parents would like to share if your kids has already, participated. So Brian, maybe how about you started with your part, and then we can coming back to the Q&A after the whole session.
Perfect.
Does that work for you? Okay.
All right. Yeah, so I'm going to take a few moments to talk a little bit about the problem-solving math roadmap we have at Pyramid, and I'm going to give you a quick look inside of one of my classes. This is actually a class I taught earlier this week. I have a few things pulled from 2 of them. So we look at it and we break it up into the 3 sections of learning, and then we have the competition readiness courses. So we'll look at elementary, middle school, and high school. In elementary, we start with the Beast Academy books. Now, if you're not familiar with Beast Academy, it is a comic book based learning system for math, and I love it. I'm a huge comic book nerd. I have every copy of Beast Academy, and I have most copies of other comic books. So when I saw this, it spoke to me, and I was like, I'm so excited. And it gets the kids interested. They're so excited to find out what our 4 main characters are going to be doing in that lesson with the different teachers in their school. And it really shows how we apply that math. The Beast Academy books, the first 2 books are focused on arithmetic, and it builds those arithmetic skills. Then once we get to BA4, we start doing some geometry and then building more arithmetic. And then 5 is like this beginning look at algebra. We've introduced variables already slowly throughout the course, and we are adding more geometry, more of those arithmetic skills. And the thing I love about Beast Academy, and this is what we're talking about earlier, is the having different methods for different students to solve and letting them see the different ones. There's 4 students you're following in Beast Academy. We have Grog, Winnie, Lizzie, and Alex. And when they have a math problem, it's a hard problem that the students are invited to do as well. And they each have their own method to solve it. So when the students are learning in these elementary classes, they're not just learning, okay, this is the problem, this is the solution. They learn the different ways you can get to those solutions. Every student learns differently, and these books really do show all of the different ways that students can get to where they need to be. And it really does make me rather happy to see the students in this class. They get very excited. Then we go to pre-algebra, which is the class I taught right before this one. If you were here earlier, you heard me talking about, I have a couple of students that learned about prime factorization. They asked the largest prime number to be discovered. Well, one in October had over 24 million digits in it. So they were very excited. They then started asking other things like, what is the cap on things? And they learned that you can put Google Docs has a character limit. They asked about that. It's so much fun in these classes. It gets kids thinking in new ways. And then once we go through these elementary classes, which you'll see, we don't make you follow the specific grade level. We put you in the right one after you take a placement test. I have younger students that are in some of these more advanced classes. And then if the student is an advanced student, but they've never had these opportunities before, they might be a little bit older in one of the lower level classes, but that's good because they're learning those different methods. I've had to reteach many students throughout the years these different arithmetic methods. So many of them are still just multiplying by doing place value stacking, when there's so many other ways to do it quickly. If you want to be in the competitions, you have to know these different ways and find something that works for you. Once we get into middle school, we start offering more of these art of problem solving classes, and we're using the art of problem solving books. I love these books. They are a fantastic way to show application of the math. The students learn not just what the book has to say, but how they can apply this math to real life things or just really weird situations. We have our algebra, which we split into 2 sections in here because algebra is a big course and there's a lot inside of it. And inside of algebra, we often talk about counting and probability and number theory. And these build the student's toolbox. That toolbox is how they're able to do the more complicated math. That's how they're able to perform well in competitions or just in any critical thinking skills. I always try to get people to take number theory because I think that's one of the most important classes. It builds skills that you will not see again for quite some time in math. And if you skip over that and you're like, well, I want to follow the high school track, which is of course just like algebra, geometry, algebra 2, pre-calculus, calculus. If you do that, you're missing so much. So we really like to include this counting and probability, this number theory. These are skills the students desperately need to perform well. Now, by the time they finish middle school or they're in the middle school track, they'll have done a geometry, which we also split into 2 parts. And the AOPS geometry does a fantastic job of not just making you memorize rule after rule after rule, formula after formula after formula, but showing you how they're derived, showing you how to get that formula from the simple rules we've learned earlier on in geometry, or even the rules we learned in Beast Academy, and how we can apply that to build up and get more solutions. In high school, we do our algebra 2. We have our more counting and probability, a pre-calculus, and of course, calculus. Now, the high school students at Pyramid do fantastic work, and we always encourage them to do more than just inside the class. We have the Youth Academic Research Journal that many students will do research and publish into that as well. And these skills they're building in these classes go towards that. Now, each of these classes is once again focused on the problem solving. It's not memorize this, do a problem, do a problem, do a problem. No. We build. We start by looking at some more simple solutions. We work together on a problem. Then students need to apply that knowledge. Let's take a quick look inside of an algebra class I taught earlier this week. You can see we're doing system of equations here. I had 3 students who had the ability to annotate, and there were 2 students that were doing their work and then taking pictures and sending it in. In this class, everyone's showing their work and they're showing their different methods. You can see the different breakouts from the students. Now, inside the class, I make sure that our focus is on doing the math, not on copying every single piece of notes. If the students get too hung up on notes, then they're just copying me. I don't want that. I want them thinking. I want them trying. The notebook the student has in class is going to look very different than the class notes. But then the worry is, what about the class notes? I supply the class notes at the end of every class. This is from one class. We went over chapter 4 in the algebra for middle school. This is the first level of algebra. We go through these problems and you can see I'm solving things in multiple ways. That's why you see different colors on the screen. You'll see that we have highlighted sections so that way the students can pick out where it is. And at the end of every class, they get a copy of this because their notes are trying the problems themselves. They're going to try the problem after we've done one quick example together. They're going to get into the work themselves, and then we go through it together. Sometimes students have some amazing work, and we'll put that up on the screen as well, and then they can express their method to solve it. I like doing a mixture of having the students work it right into their notebook and work it on the screen. That way I can see how they're going through their progress, like how they're thinking and how they're building, because many students have different ways that they're going to solve a problem. But at the end, we've gone through multiple methods and they have a copy of everything we did. Now, we do have some competition readiness courses here at Pyramid. We focus on the AMC 8, 10, 12, and the AIM, or the AIME. The AMC 8, we have the advanced AMC 8 prep class, which takes you through that thought process you need to solve these. And it gives you those foundations to solve these problems. These can be some really exciting problems and quite difficult at times. You'd be amazed that the middle schoolers are solving these sorts of things. And oftentimes I have elementary students that will be taking the AMC 8 as well. Then we also have the crash course, which is like a quick, okay, let's see what the test is going to be like. Let's get those base skills in there and make sure the students know that it's all about playing with the numbers. Playing with the numbers is something my students hear me talk about all the time. When you don't know how to solve a problem, when you don't know what to do, you haven't learned it or you've forgotten it. Well, if you've taken number theory, if you've taken all of our arithmetic problems, our arithmetic classes, you can break them up. The prime factorization my students learned today, we then learned, okay, when you don't know how to solve a problem, try prime factoring it. Get the prime factorization, break it down in there. Maybe you'll see a pattern. Maybe you'll find some weird solution to the problem. It doesn't have to be exactly what the teacher said to get there. It doesn't have to be what the book said. Finding your own way. And that's what these competition classes are trying to help you do too. Use your toolbox, play with the numbers. Now, if you're wondering, where does the student start? We have a class placement. The traditional class placement from Art of Problem Solving, you can see on the left, they give you just a series of questions, and then they say, if you score an 80% or higher on this, then you're ready to take the class. If you scored that 80% or higher, these are not the most simple problems from the section. If you score that 80% here at Pyramid, we think that that means you're ready for the next one. And you'll notice that though these are the same questions on both sheets, the Pyramid one is much larger. That's because I don't care if you're right. I've had students that have answered wrong before, but I still move them to the next level. And that's because their methods were good. They had a simple human error mistake. They missed a negative sign, but they show me their methods and they have the skills that we were looking for in that class. So we're not looking right or wrong. We're looking at how you get to your answer. Right and wrong is just practice. How you get there, that's the logic. Those are the skills. That shows the effort the student's been putting in. So that's why we have a lot more space. I need the students to write out their work. That's one thing that I get a lot of fight from most of my students early on is, I really have to write out the work, Mr. Brian. I know the answer. I can give you the answer. I don't want the answer. I want to see how you got it. I need to know how your brain works so I can help you prepare for what's next. All right. Now I've seen a lot of questions been jumping up in here. So I think it's time for us to head back to our Q&A. All right. Now, let's take a look. All right, so Algebra A, Algebra 1, Algebra B, Algebra 2. So Algebra 1 is split into A and B because it is a very large set of courses. And we want that number theory and that statistics probability inside in between them. All right.
The next one is in Chinese. Maybe Miss Rose wants to take it.
Unfortunately, my Chinese is not that strong.
Okay. that the one is a mass con has a need a speed question, right? Okay, and yeah, theoretically true or not true. So why this? Math con is for middle school, right? AMI, USMO, normally, yeah, we see some kids, just like 8th grader, just Brian said, 8th grader go to AMI, go to USMO, USGMO. Not every kids can go that high. That's number one. Number two, um, I think the skill training will help you to for later on. But most important, when after you pass that stage, after you pass that MathCon MO stage here, it's more for problem solving. So the USMO, USJMO is more way how to find the problem solving. When you train this one here, I think that's a series of training. It's not really contradiction of training. It's a serious training. So you need to train accuracy fast, right? During the mass count, during the MC 10, MC 12. Okay. The problem solving is part of skill to doing fast, to doing accuracy. But after you pass that stage, the question which you will see much harder questions, I think as a stage here, the training level, the training questions which you have should be different. So just like I said, it's not a contradiction, it's a series of training. Go to next stage. Okay, Joan, you let me know if I didn't answer your question right. Okay, okay, I can answer the Julie's question regarding the kids, younger kids go take the higher grade. That happens all the time. Don't feel surprised if you see the kids, just like elementary kids take a middle school class, take a high school class, happen all the time. So my 2 cents here is, number one, let the kids feel comfortable there. If the kids not feel comfortable in that environment, don't do that. Number two, the kids really have knowledge. They can keep pace with the students, with the student in the class. If they cannot pace, always lag there, don't do that. Okay. My experience, my kids always go we father the next level. So it's not new to us. It's not new to me. Okay, I see this one happens all the time. So this just my 2 cents. But most important, they should be keeping pace for that and feel comfortable. If somehow they feel, oh, they can just like be pulled to there, they feel the other kids which can do way better, but with faster job, they feel left behind. That's not good. Okay. Okay. The other question here, which good score for MC 10 as 8th grader? This depends on, I think, which year you talk about, right? Okay. I think probably over this hard. What do you mean? I don't know how you define the good score. How you define the good score in this case here? If you want to define the good score getting the Emmy, that the Emmy cutoff will be good, right? So if you add like 8th grader, you can go to the Emmy, that'd be good achievement. Okay. How many? Okay. Next one. What grade number theory? Okay. Back to Brian's question here. I also emphasize the importance of number theory. Okay. So number theory, just like a side question for comments for that one here too. And some of you knows, besides math competition, there's some summer camp, right? Some very prestigious summer camp, just like the RAS, SUMAC. SUMAC is the one host from the Stanford, and the RAS is the one kind of aligned with Harvard. Another one will be the MIT host one. Okay, those math competition, not math competition, those math camp, they have entrance exam. So what they test for? Test number theory. Okay, my younger kids went to the SUMAC one, so they took a number theory. Okay, so that's one of thing. Number theory is quite important. Which grade you take? Brian, you want to take that one?
So The grade level, it depends on the student's level more than the grade level. I've had a group of students that started with me when they were like in first grade, and they've met with me every single week in the morning for an hour for the last 3 years. And they are about to start their algebra class, and they're third, fourth grade now. So it's really more about student level than grade level for these things. But number theory is using a lot of the mechanics that you learn in pre-algebra, a little bit of algebra, but mostly pre-algebra mechanics. So if they've taken pre-algebra, they're probably ready to try for number theory. Some students even before pre-algebra, because really pre-algebra is just arithmetic, really. If they've had a lot of arithmetic practice, then they're probably ready for number theory. It's going to be a new topic for the students no matter what. It is not something taught in the other grade levels. So it really depends on the individual student and just their skill level. And then that's what the placement tests are for, because we don't like to break it into that grade level, to take the placement and find out, is the student ready for this?
Okay. So the next question, how many students qualify for AMI? Roughly around 3,000 each year. So they go, go from the MC10, MC12. MC10 has 2, right? A and B, and the MC12 has A and B too. So they calculate a rough number here. Yeah, you can get those information from MA website, which Mrs. Lee posted here. Okay. Next question, Brian, you want to take it?
Oh yeah, the calculation speed. So increasing a student's calculation speed is about finding the method that works best for them in their heads. And most of the time it's learning how to play with the distributive property. Using the commutative, the associative, and the distributive properties in fun and new ways, which is what art of problem solving keeps going back to, these properties and explaining how this new thing you learned goes back to one of these 3 properties. Building up your knowledge on how this applies to different style of questions is what increases your mental math speed. There are plenty of tricks out there that can increase your speed. But I like it to be the student's understanding has increased, and that's what's increased their speed. I don't teach any classes that are focused solely on increasing computation speed. I like to just teach those fundamentals of arithmetic will get you there. If your student's young enough for Beast Academy teaches you so many new methods for all of this very basic arithmetic that builds to later. That would be an amazing place to start. Like any student that starts early in Beast Academy is going to be outperforming their peers later. It is a wonderful starting point.
The speed thing is accumulated from the skill training.
Yeah.
So if you say, oh yeah, it took them 40 minutes to finish this question. In our case, maybe take about 10 minutes to finish this question. How to get there, right? I think you need to find out why that case only take about 10 minutes, you take about 40 minutes, right? What method they use, what the method other people case use. When we teach here, you always think about, oh yeah, how many ways you could do, right? Compare the ways, compare different ways. You learn from there. There got be some ways better than others. Okay, from there you kind of accumulate. Which way will help you to solve this problem, similar problem later on, use the similar way, right? That will improve your speed. If you just training speed for speed, you probably won't go that farther. Because just like Brian says, there are no such training just for speed. Okay, you have finished this one in 2 minutes. You have finished this one in 3 minutes. There are no such training for that. The speed is accumulated based on how much you know, right? How much skill you gained over the time, accumulate over the time. But of course, when you do this stuff, you always has, okay, time and limits, right? What the strategy you pick up, which question you do. That's another thing which we're taught when you do the competition math, right? Because just like for the MC10, MC12, the question had equal weight, but not just like I said, there are no difference with the weight, but which one will bring you to the right direction here, right? To get to your next level. That one you have to pick up the one which you're good at it and be accurate for that. Then you go score to the next level. So that's a training behind that, accumulated over the time. Yeah, I don't know if I answered this question. Okay. MathCon here. MathCon, you do need a team, so you need a sponsor. You need to get a sponsor for that. If you don't have a sponsor, I don't think you can get the MathCon, because the MathCon is the goal by the team. So you always said, oh yeah, this is sponsored by the school, right? That's how the MathCon works.
Yeah, there used to be pre-pandemic some homeschool resources that some people were using, but I don't think that's come back yet. But I know there are some homeschool groups that will start their own teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for MassCom, you can join individually. If you're homeschool, you see, if your school don't have it, you see, I sign up individually, but you can't compete in some of the round. Yeah, you can't compete with the team round.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. State MassCon. Mrs. Ni, want to take that one? Get your national. This is all depends. This is all depends. The reason for that, because you only have four kids go to national, right? But if in that year the school kids are very strong, they only choose 4. So these are kind of depend, and each state the change it differently. I mean the if you compare Illinois to Wisconsin, if you compare Illinois to to California, you will see the cutoff will be probably so different. That you only have 4 kids go there. Okay.
I think there's another one about what are your thoughts on the text-based classes offered by our AOPS online?
So we were talking earlier about the different types of learning that students have, and Pyramid and the Center for Future Innovators have very strong feelings about the different types of learning. That's why we do the Colgate tests to find your type of learning. And for students that are reading, writing, learning, that can work for them. But that's only one of the types of learning. So it depends. If your student learns really well from reading, that can work. Math, I usually think it's better to have someone to bounce ideas with. So having a teacher in the classroom is, I mean, as a math teacher, I've always thought having a teacher in the classroom is more helpful. Even an online classroom is amazing now with all the tools. You saw how we work together in our classes, and we have all of this back and forth with the students. Like having someone there with the student, I think is a significant improvement over the text-based. But there are students that learn best by just reading. And if that's your student, then the text would be for you, but that would be a rare case, I believe.
Yes, as a parent, I do want to share, like my son was never able to, not just because he's not a good reader. I think it's because he felt that is very boring in that way. He would rather to watch a video. But I heard some kids doesn't like to watch a video, learn math as well. They just prefer interactive way. So I think, Ms. Brian, you answered well. I think each kid has different way of learning. That's what I kind of promote. I think, talking about learning capability, I think as parents, we need to figure out, what is the best way your kids, to learn things. Some kids definitely language wise, some kids definitely, vision wise, some definitely audio wise. So different kids has a different way. But these text-based classes, I heard many complain is only because, most of the kids started okay, but later stage feels so boring and could not finish it.
Yeah. And not having the same level of support with like a homework problem you don't get. It's not very big on my screen, but you can see on the left that dark blue bar, that is a homework question from the previous lesson that the students didn't understand. It was one of the challenge problems, so I had a little star on it, and they couldn't get it. So we went over it in the beginning of class, and we spend a part of class going over those challenge problems so they can see me solve it in real time. They get to know the methods I used and what went into it. And not having the ability to work with that teacher to see how they do it and adjust to how the students would do it. That's why you'll see a lot of the lesson materials in multiple colors. One color means one method. The next color means that was the next method we looked at in class. Yeah. So the having the teacher, I think, is fantastic.
Okay. I think there's one question regarding the questions the AOPS book has, overly, just like I said, some of them overly difficult, some are overly easy. So my question here to my answers here to you is, I don't know if you have some base knowledge for that. AOPS problems is not meant for everybody solve every single question. Okay, so what I mean, you can start with some easy question. Okay, for the first round, you can always go back to see what kind of level question I can do it later on. I always tell the kids, also parents too, as a kids, just like I say, different kids have different learning, right? The learning period. But no matter how good the kids learn, they always forgot something for short period of time, for long period of time. Okay. One of the big thing for math is it's good. Always go back to review it. Go back to say, oh, what I learned for this semester, what did I miss for the next semester. I taught a bunch of kids for over years. I said, oh yeah, I taught you last year. Now you forgot what happened. And now you don't know how to do this problem. I said, yeah. I now I remember. So what's I mean? It's cumulative add the process, right? So you see some problems very hard to start with. Fine with me. Don't be, I have to solve every single questions to start with. Don't do that, okay? Found some problem, either goes build some confidence. In this case, to go to the next level, you can always go back to solve those other questions. The same thing to just like to do study for other stuff too. It's not always, oh, I have to solve everything 100% at the one shot. No way. Okay, even my kids that go that high, that don't go solve this problem away. And also when you look at the book has some kind of a overlapping stuff for each book, right? Just like in the pre-algebra, some overlapping too. The algebra, intermediate algebra, they have some overlapping too. Why they do it on purpose. They do on purpose for those, because they want to say, okay, you learn something here, right? But you learn that level, at that time you feel hard. Once you go next level, you feel those questions quite easier. Okay. So what I mean, just like don't expect to solve every single question for one round for the start with. Okay. Give them some time. Give them some time to figure out. You can always go back, come back, right? Just like, okay, over the summertime, over the some spare time. Oh yeah, I have some question which I couldn't solve before. Then I can go back after you learn chapter 12. You go back to chapter 10. You say, oh yeah, can I solve chapter 10 problem? Yeah, probably you can now. Okay. Hope answer your question here. Okay, Ethan, let me know if you have another question. Okay. Okay. ALPS. For ALPS, do extra work. Okay, that's a question for a lot of kids. Brian, you want to take that one?
All right. Oh yeah, they don't want to do the extra work. That is a very
Common, right?
common thing I see. There is a lot of homework involved with some of these things as well. And math, you really get the skills by doing the work. Is it like if you just come to class, you only sit in class, you never do any of the homework, you don't try in class, you're just watching what we do as teachers, you're not going to build those math skills. And the problem always is, well, how do you get the student interested in it? Well, it's by letting them try it more and more and telling them being right doesn't matter. Just see the weird thing they tried, do as far as you can, and then when you go, okay, well, now this problem's just annoying me a bit, I can't do anymore, that's okay, take a break. Come back later, take another look at it. I don't like when students do all their math homework all at one sitting. is one of the things I tell parents. One of our first lessons, the first lesson every time I like to talk to them and say, hey, can we sit and then do maybe 1 or 2 problems a day? And this is something I had to learn from trial and error doing many classes when I finally learned, okay, if they try 1 problem a day, they're going to build their math skill. I've encouraged some parents to have small rewards for them at times, like, hey, you did this math problem. Doesn't matter if they're right, they still get an award if they did the problem. Like it was squishies, the little, like, you can get them for like pennies each. One parent was giving their child a squishy for every math problem they did. They did tons of math problems. They didn't need to be right, but it needed to show that they tried.
Yeah.
And sometimes these art of problem solving problems are so difficult that getting the correct answer isn't necessarily expected, because it is a more of a Fermi question. It's like an ideas question. How do I approach this problem that I would not have thought of as a mathematical problem before? How can I bring math to this seemingly non-math question? And just by doing that, the student has learned a lot. So getting them to do it, sometimes it takes rewards for a bit, and just lowering the amount that they do at once. If a student's sitting there doing like 5 hours of math work all at once, they're not going to be very happy with their math. When I was in college in math, I got very sick for a period and I had to do all of my homework. I was out for 2 weeks. I had to do homework. I was taking 3 upper level math classes and some sciences in the same semester. And I had to do all of it in the course of like 2 days. And I tell you, I thought about changing majors those 2 days. And I love math.
Yeah.
Doing too much math, it could be bad, but breaking it up and thinking of it as, okay, 1 problem, 2 problems a day, that I think can help a lot of students get over that.
Build up, yeah, build up, yeah. So back to Brian, some kids were kind of tired, just like there are some limit for that, right? Just like I know one girl, she's super smart, and she got a JMO at 8th grade, and she was a 1-year jump. So she, at the time, she just like basically 7th grader, she got a US JMO. That's great human, right? The girl has a bright future. I know the girl pretty well, and she's my daughter's friend. Funny thing is, she tired in high school. she stopped to go to the math competition in high school. So you can see, this like it's just there's some degree, just like I think the one problem I want to talk to her, she said because some environment in her family caused her to not want going further. So just like as I said in my earlier, just like build up some environment, supportive environment, right? That's quite important to have the kids going further. Okay. John asked me question regarding my own kids. Yeah, I have 1 son, 1 daughter. So the math achievement. So let me see this way. Math achievement is just one of their path. Okay, it's not their whole life. So John, so my son went to USMO. But he was not in the IMO team. He was in the chemistry ICHO team. He was one of the 4 represent the US to compete in chemistry, but he was in the USMO. It's my son. My daughter she wanted to go to the MO. She was AMI, but she also went to the SUMAC. It's like the Stanford mass camp there. Only about 30, 60 kids for each year from international. Both of them, just like I said, this back to my discussion to before. Kids are different, right? Kids are different. They have their own interests. They have own talent. So don't compare each one of them. Leave them expand their own strengths to the full potential, right? So so beyond this, beyond those stuff, they have another interest, right? So both of them love reading the bookworms. Uh, both of them love music, and my daughter also is a good writer. She got a kind of bigger reward for the writing as well. She even published some books as well. So just like don't compare kids with kids. They are talent, but they have different strengths. Leave them growing, right? Leave them get them their own flower in different ways, so they will shine in one way, right? Just for me, I think as a parents, I think the most important when they're young, I took them to the library each week, and they ask me the most is the book, reading the book. So probably some kids was think ridiculous, but that's really they're asking me. I say, oh, what do you want? I want to buy this book. Can I buy this book? Okay, fine, right? So I think from my point of view, I just provide them support more than others to mentally healthy, whatever supplies I can do. For me, I have no chemistry background. My son went that high because of himself, not because of me. Because I only what I can do is just like support. I have no chemistry background at all, so I cannot provide any help for that part. So just like I said, as a parent, is whatever I can provide.
Yeah.
Hope I answered your question, John. Yeah.
There's complete side note, but there's such a correlation between math students and no chemistry background. Like all of my math friends, none of us took a chemistry class. We took all of our required chemistry class for college together, and we had been doing, the 300 level math classes, and we take intro chemistry, and that was the hardest class I took my junior year, I think. So some people have these very different interests. So finding that interest is what helps. And I do feel that math is just one of those general things that's going to help you with no matter your interest. But some people have much more of an interest in math than others. But building those skills, I think of my math degree as more of a degree that taught me how to think than a
Thinking,
degree that
right?
taught me
Yeah,
math.
exactly. Yeah, thinking skills. Yeah, that's quite important. Yeah. Okay. No more questions? Okay, so this question for me, for career path, so my yeah, let's start with my son. So my son was in Stanford. He had got 3 degrees from Stanford, math, chemistry, and computer science. Now he has his own startup. Our intention was he will be in the college professor, right? He will go academic role, but Stanford had a very good culture for for the startup. So now he's in his own path for startup. My daughter is at MIT. She's took both. Her degrees, her degree, her kind of major will be in the combined computer and bio. So she's doing the computing bio stuff. She kind of one day she's talking to me how she's doing the lab work with some computing stuff and with some genetic stuff, editing stuff, those stuff. That's what her interest. I think for my daughter, she probably will go to the academic, just like keep going. And she was talking to me about getting her MD, PhD degree for her long term. But I think that's a long way to go. That's just like intention here, yeah. So hope I answered your question. So let me know if any other questions here. I think. Yeah, she double major math and the chemistry, and she got another degree for computer science as well. So she got 3 degrees. Thank you. Yeah. So any other questions, comments?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you. Yeah, it's my pleasure to be here to share some thoughts from our side here. And thank you to spend the wonderful Friday evening with us. It's fortunate to having you here. I'm glad. Let me know if any question if you have later on. Be more than happy to answer.
And thank you everyone so much for joining us today. And you can send more questions in the WeChat group, of course. I'm in there, so you can @ me. You'll find me. I'm Brian Meadows. So there's a real fun community of the math teachers here in Pyramid. I feel like we're all birds of a feather. We're very like-minded with our approach to math, and just the love of the problem solving and just building up these base skills. And I feel one of the most important things that we talked about today is that it's about learning the skills and building up it, like Mrs. Rose said, it's not about doing it all real fast. It's a slow journey that takes time to build these skills and get to your goal point. And I mean, it was a slow time for me to get to my goal of math as well. So it's not something you can learn all at once. I truly wish it was at times. Yeah, but everyone has like a different steps in their math journey, and then having a teacher there with you to help you with it, and having these small classrooms where if you have like a very specific question or just a general question where it's like this thing I can't seem to get it, have that teacher work with you is just so important. Well,
Thank you all. Yeah, thanks.
thank you,
Oh,
everyone.
thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for Coach Rose and Brian. I really appreciate you spend the night with the pyramid, community, and we're really looking forward for the next year's math classes and competition prep. And I hope we have more talented kids, kind of be nurtured from our school. We really appreciate everyone's participation, and have a great weekend and happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holiday. Have a nice weekend.
Happy
Bye,
holidays,
everybody.
everyone.
Yes,
Bye,
bye-bye.
everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.